Right. Right. So what are some of the benefits? I'm sure that's a question that probably everybody has on their mind. So,
Benefits and downfalls, please.
oh,
Like,
sure.
yeah, if there's anything that any reason we shouldn't, because, things can happen.
I'm going to say that there's every reason that you should.
Yeah.
And you would actually be doing yourself a great disservice after discovering that there's a
All
whole
of this.
other status available to you that puts you in a superior jurisdiction where you have superior rights. Okay. And this, you'll still be part of the system. I mean, you're going to be paid in Federal Reserve currency. You can be receiving benefits and privileges from the state. And I mean, how has it been so far? Can I just be honest? How has it been? I mean, isn't that the very thing that we're trying to get away from? There are, I think the downsides though, there aren't many, but I would say that if you harm or injure somebody, you're going to be in deep shit, and just as long as you don't do that, love thy neighbor, do harm. So there, I really can't see any downside in the long run, but what's going to happen is there is going to be some pushback. So like, for example, the FBI, right? There's this whole nother movement for state nationals. It's run by Anna von Reitz. And I don't, I'm not here to discredit people or anything like that. It's just that her process is incomplete. She's great with history. David has spoken pretty, nicely of her, but she's out there, and she's attacking David Straight's method. And that pretty much tells me everything that I need to know is who's doing the attacking.
So is that the same woman that people followed and then got arrested because they didn't?
Bingo.
Okay, can you explain that so people
You're actually going to get to that. So
okay, that's fine.
In another slide. So when we get to that slide, which is coming up, but yes, absolutely. And the FBI, who doesn't even have a corporate charter to exist, by the way, the FBI was started in 1909 or something by a secretary who had no authority to start an agency. Only Congress could start an agency, right? And so when the FBI asked Congress for a corporate charter in 1976, Congress denied them. So you can't get more color of law than that, pretending to have authority where there really is none, okay?
But man, do they have authority because we're not operating under common law? Is that why they do have authority?
100%, Crystal. 100%.
Okay.
And that we can call them out, but we can't stand. We have no standing as 14th Amendment U.S.
Citizens.
Hey guys, Ben Barlow here, Your Rights, Your Life out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Just want to touch base with you guys. There's a lot of posers out there, guys. A lot of people copying our website. The Anna von Reitz, TASA, state assemblies have a bogus process. TASA was their website. They copied our website and started up statenationals.us with an S on the end of it. Now they got coordinator at statenationals.us. It's all a bogus process, guys. They have an incomplete process. Their land recording office is bogus. It's all a bogus process. It doesn't do anything for you. So before you go jumping into this with the state assemblies and following Anna von Reitz, who's tied to the Vatican, you better think twice and understand what you're getting into. Guys, this process is to take you from the public and take you into the private. And a lot of people that are pushing these projects or these processes don't even understand what they're talking about. Don't understand what they're talking about. So it's important that you understand you've got a lot of education in front of you that you need to unlearn all the indoctrination and relearn all the things you should have learned. One example is, we've been taught all of our lives the only way to have a business is a sole proprietor, an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp, and that's not true. You can have a PMA, private membership association, or a private ministerial association. You guys can create those through breakingbarlow.com. You scroll down to the bottom of that website. Go sign into my website. Scroll down to the bottom and hit the PMA button. It's a little QR code. We can help you create your PMA. Private ministerial association or a private membership association. That's how you operate in the private. It's a private, unincorporated business dealing with men and women. So we teach you all these things. We're getting ready to start up on the website, statenational.us. We're starting the unit, which is the State National Community, State National University. We're going to start educating you guys on your rights, freedoms, and liberties that you never knew you had. So get signed up, order the video to get the first process done. We're here to help you guys. Take control of your sovereignty. Take dominion over the land, the air, and the water, and understand and learn how to stand as an American state national. Hope you guys have a great evening. Talk to you soon.
What did I say? Genesis 1:26 through 28. God gave me, man, dominion over the land, the air, and the water, and this is law. I'm going to show you how to take dominion this weekend. And when you take dominion over all three jurisdictions, you are free. If you jump out of one into another with both feet, they'll destroy you in the other two. All these wonderful patriot groups out there, I love them. But they're trying to jump out of two jurisdictions into one. And they go to jail over and over again. I watched them do it for 35 years, and then I watched the people behind them not stand up for them when they get there. And I can show you how to be free, so you never get into that position. Okay? Every month thereafter, she got an invoice in the mail with a 0.00 amount owed because they're pulling it out of their trust. After this took place, she is now a queen. They did it immediately. Her lights were getting turned off. She had no money. Okay? Yes, you can do that, but can you defend yourself? There are little aspects to that you can get away with no problem at all prior to the claim, because it is yours. But until you actually put in the claim, don't go try and buy cars and houses or anything else. And I wouldn't go try and buy a house unless it was in your business plan and pre-approved with your co-trustee. Who can bring a case against a trust? A beneficiary or another trustee. That's it. That's the only two things that can bring a claim against a trust. A beneficiary going to the trustee and say, hey, you're not managing the trust very well. I'm filing suit. Or another trustee if there's a co-trustee. And understand, under the public charitable trust of this nation, you are only a co-trustee and a co-beneficiary, and the only signatory officer. And you can look that up in case law. There are case law just on this subject that says you're the co-trustee and the co-beneficiary and the only signatory officer of the public charitable trust. And it says it right in the case law. So if you go out and act as trustee or beneficiary and you mismanage the trust, it's like playing Monopoly. Just go to jail. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go to jail. And everybody I know who's gone to jail over their trusts were terrible managers of their trust without seeking out the co-beneficiary or co-trustees' permission. These trusts are just what it says, trust. You can't have trust without honor, and you can't have honor without trust. What would a prudent man do? Would a prudent man take 80 to 90 million out of his trust and go buy all his family members' houses, buy a new Corvette, buy a new Provost motorhome? You know, would he go do all that and just start squandering the money? No. And that's why Denny went to jail for 60 years. I know other people that have taken money out of their trust and they're rotting away. And it seems like all their sentences are always 60 years, so maybe that's the going rate. But I know millions of people that are operating their trust in honor. And they're doing just fine. They're doing just fine. The right way to do it, you need a new vehicle? Let me ask you a question. Are there any people in the room who are trust fund babies where their parents or grandparents set up a trust for them to live off of? Any of them? One. Thank you for raising your hand. I know you didn't have to. The dollar figures don't matter, but I'm just going to say he gets $2,500 a month out of his trust. You don't have to tell us what it is. It's not our business. It's yours. It's your private business. You get $2,500 a month out of his business. Can you take $10,000? No. The trustee ain't going to give it to the beneficiary. See? But do you have the ability, if something happens, and most trusts allow for this, because I've read hundreds of thousands of them, if you have a car and your car engine blows up and you need to go buy another car, do you have the ability to go to your trustee and say, hey, here's the situation, and explain it to him and say, I need another car. And if you're reasonable with your offer or your presentment to the trustee, would they buy you another car? There you go. Or the trustee might say, all right, go pick out a reasonable car. That's the car you want to buy. Finance it for 60 months. It's $560 a month payment. We'll add $560 a month for 5 years to your monthly check out of the trust to pay the payments on the car. They might say that. But regardless, there had to be some kind of a plan, some kind of an offer. You can't just go out and buy a Ferrari. Trustee, say no. It's the same with us. You write a business plan. You show your competence. You show you've taken dominion. You show that you can effectively manage your trust. You make the business plan to the trustee. You go convince your co-trustee, which is going to be a federal bankruptcy or probate judge. You go convince him that you're competent enough to stand next to him as a co-trustee, that you know the law well enough. You take dominion over the land, the air, and the water, and everything therein. And you leave him with nothing to adjudicate. And that will prove your competency, that you can access your trust. Isn't this beautiful? It's about putting ourselves on a higher standard and doing what's right. If we know how, we can know what our trusts are worth. Then we can go in there and say, all right, here's my business plan. I learned how to do business plan in business school. Here's my business plan. I've got a $100 million business. I can draw a business plan that's effective for that business, that's reasonable, that's fair and prudent, right? so the business stays in business. That's important, right? But if I don't know, and I think it might be $100,000 a year business, my business plan is going to be a little on the low side. I know, right? At that level in equity, the judge is on your side. You've got to go into court in equity. When you go into federal court in equity, the judge is on your side. You're working together to solve the issue. It's a beautiful thing. Make sure she's taken care of. Absolutely, she does. That's right. And you can go back 99 years and claim the trust of your fathers and grandfathers. I knew I'd throw that little tidbit out there. Get you excited. Everybody born since 1933 has one, unless they haven't been registered. Sometimes that alone is a reason to register the birth. See, if they know, there's a difference between having knowledge and not having any. If I didn't have any knowledge of any of this stuff, I'd probably not want to have a birth certificate either. But having the knowledge of it, knowing that it could have been a great thing, that it was designed as a great thing, it was just hidden from me. But now that I know and I have the knowledge, I can overcome that. You see what I mean? Now it's a great thing again.
So when you're going to go to the federal bankruptcy probate judge with your business plan, I'm assuming that's in real estate.
Okay. Yeah, let me keep on keeping on, because it's going to answer that stuff. It's going to answer most of these questions. I'm kind of doing this whole dang thing out of order right now.
Get us back in line.
I'm going to try and get you back in line.
I just want to say I love you, man.
We love you.
But when you're in common law, when you're in ASN, it's a game changer. And I'm not even kidding you. You will win every court case, every single court case. Why? Because when you're in common law, you need an Article 3 court. An Article 1 court, which is Admiralty Maritime, it's a lower court. They have no jurisdiction unless you give it to them. And that's all we've been doing our whole lives, making these errors, is acquiescing to, the de facto corporate government. And so this can change the game for everybody. So these are some points we've already covered, right? And so again, when ASN passports are run, this is what it's going to show up when a cop or a judge is looking at it, right? And so unless there's an injured party, no crime has been committed. No victim, no crime. That's the motto for ASNs, right? So you have to shift the burden of proof, and you have to put the ball back in their court. And so you win all your court cases before you even show up, okay? Because you have to file your paperwork and you have to walk into court having dominion over all the jurisdictions of law, which we're going to get to. So let's go to the next couple of slides.